Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's back today with day 5 of the Silk Report. Nice to see you all with us. I love this comment, by the way, from Matthew D'Souza saying, looks like Mannarino is heading through to be Nadal's sacrificial lamb. Yeah, I think probably most of us would agree that Mannarino would be the slightly easier option for Rafa in the next round. But let's see. Actually, let me know in the live chat what the latest score is. Last I saw it was Mannarino was a breakup in the 4th, and Karatsev was having an injury timeout. So let me know how that pans out. Let's go straight to the tweets of the day, by the way, which begins with, I've got a live poll going. Feel free to get involved. Will Mannarino Karatsev finish before or after the Silk Report? Normally, we would like the Silk Report to be at the end of play, but Mannarino doing what Mannarino does best, managing to drag it out. Sometimes points seem to last longer than sets for others. So much so that I actually got asked by Matt Gunner just before going live. He said, aren't you going to wait for the live tennis to finish first so you can do a full roundup? Well, yeah, of course, I'd love to. But it might be time to do day 6 Silk Report before Karatsev and Mannarino finish the way they're playing. And I think it's all down to Mannarino. Listen, let's get straight to it, though, regarding day 5, which is where we still are right now. It's a bit confusing, but day 5. And I guess the biggest story of the day will be Osaka's defeat. Let me know in the live chat, were you surprised by that defeat? I said in the podcast yesterday that I was leaning towards an Osaka victory, meaning it was 55-45, 60-40 in her favor. I think Osaka, her absolute flying best, wins that match. She's probably just slightly short of that right now. And given how stacked the women's game is, if you're slightly off it, especially against an opponent who was on it like Anisimova was, you're gonna go out, and that's how it is. But I like the philosophical viewpoint that she had on it. Gunnar wasn't surprised. That's good to see. 12 travel 1, a little surprised. Yeah. Osaka played well, says Matthew D'Souza. Nice. Cool. Anyway, back to Osaka. Yeah, I like the philosophical attitude that she had afterwards, as mentioned here by Tumaini Karayol, who's, by the way, probably right now is my favorite writer on tennis. So please check him out at The Guardian. He does some great sort of longer pieces, comment pieces, opinion pieces. He's one of the best out there, if not the best, I would say right now. And he's got this quote from the press conference. He was in the press conference live and he was asking her questions, and this is one of her answers. I just want to go into this year knowing that I'll have the greatest attitude ever. And I think her attitude today was spot on. She was fighting hard for every point, as she says here. Even if I win or I lose, I go off the court knowing that I tried my hardest. And there is no way anyone can expect anything more from me. And yeah, that's it. You're going, and she said herself, she said, you're going to lose tennis matches. It's what happens. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You don't want to have any regrets, though. You want to leave it all out there. So I'll just go off the court knowing that I tried my best. There's going to be moments when there's stuff that I can learn from and I can improve, but that's key for her. And let me know if you think that her performance was off today in the live chat. Tell me what you thought about it, how it went. I thought she did well, but ultimately she's coming up against a great opponent. And I know we touched on it before, but not Tim Cahill, her coach, Cahill. Tim Cahill is a footballer. Cahill, I think, is doing what Cahill does. He works with winners, whether it be Simona Halep, whether it be Leighton Hewitt as well, who he worked with many, many years ago. This is a guy who takes people to the next level. And as we're seeing with Anisimova, he's certainly doing that. And she's getting confidence as well with each match. Will it be enough, though, to beat Ash Barty, who again looked unbelievable? I mean, she crushed Georgie 6-2, 6-3 today. I see Barty having too much. One thing there is about Barty, yeah, Liam there reminded me, Tim Cahill from the Dizzy Heights of Everton to coaching tennis. Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's a soccer or football fan out there will know the Tim Cahill I'm referring to. He was Australian and he was a beast. Maybe there's a relationship though. I don't know. Let me know. You guys can check that out for you anyway. So yeah, so Barty anyway. I think Barty will have too much for Anisimova. but it could well go 3. And we do see Barty, who's yet to win an Australian Open, don't forget. We do see Barty a little different in Australia. I think we do see her. She's not even actually made a final. I don't think she's even made an Aussie Open final yet. So will we get one of those performances from Barty? It doesn't look like it. And she is the favourite. Ben picked her. I picked her. But maybe we should come to, at this point, maybe we should come to JG's pick for the title, which is this lady here, Azarenka. Oh no, he's gone for Swancheck, hasn't he? But he's got Azarenka in the final, so my apologies. This is a really cute moment, by the way, when Azarenka is asked, or her son is asked, how did mummy play today? And he said, awesome, which I think pretty much sums it up. I mean, that was the live stream we had last night, as it was here. Don't know what time it was wherever you were in the world, but yeah, and she did look awesome, and she went through comfortably. Okay, let's get to Paula Badosa. It's a nice tweet here from her. Second week, Australian Open. It was anything but comfortable and anything but awesome from her, I would say. This was a match I paid close attention to, actually. I think it was on similar time to the Azarenka match. So I couldn't cover both, but I was really focusing on the Badosa one, mainly because it sort of flipped. At 6-2, 4-2, it looked very comfortable for Badosa. No 12 travel 21. I think he got Muguruza for his year-end number 1. I think JG, if you can remind us in the chat, I think he went for Swancheck to win, beating Azarenka in the final. So anyway, yeah, keep me up to date, by the way, with Karatsev, because there's only so many things I can cover. If anything crazy happens, is it back on serve yet, or is he still a breakdown in that fourth set? Yeah, he's got Swancheck to beat. JG's 57, JG. I wonder if 57 is his age, by the way. Not sure on that. Let me know what you think in the live chat. So, yeah, he's got Swancheck to beat Azarenka in the final, but he's got Muguruza as his year-end number 1. So, Barty, 50-plus games without even breaking. Yeah, exactly. She's not lost her serve, I think, in 50-plus games. We're going to come to another player as well who was on an incredible winning streak with his serve, but unfortunately that came to an end today. But Badosa, so 6-2, 4-2. What happened? I think maybe she switched off. I sort of switched off myself. So, yeah, I didn't see that going the way it did. And then suddenly Ostapenko not only gets it back on serve. So not Ostapenko. Who did she beat today? She beat Kostyuk. Kostyuk gets it back on serve and then manages to win the third set. Remarkable. And then the beginning of the third set, we had an unbelievable run of breaks of serve. I mean, I think at one point I counted about almost half of the service games in the whole match were on a break of serve. That did sort of plateau a bit and even out or by the end, and it went back to serves. But I don't know. I thought there was a wobble from Badosa. On the positive side, the leg injury that seemed to be troubling her in the first round does seem to have gone. I didn't see any strapping on the legs. I saw some on the arm, although I think sometimes that could even be something else and nothing too serious to worry about. But talking about on the shoulders, in that third set, I was a bit worried for Badosa. Every time she would get a break, she would get broken back. And Kostyuk was someone that she wasn't going to be able to shake off. And even the demeanor of the two players, Kostyuk looked like she was enjoying it. She just looked like she was having fun out there. 12 travel 21. I think 57 because 1957 was the last time West Ham won something. Very good. Yeah, so, and I thought Kostyuk, yeah, she's having fun. She was enjoying it. There were some nice images of her mother in the crowd. And Badosa looked like she had the weight on her shoulders, not just the strapping that we saw. So, I don't know. I think this is a concern for Badosa. And I think she was a contender and still has to be a contender. I mean, she's the number 8 seed, and arguably her form is probably the best out there, along with Ashley Barty, that's left in the tournament. She's obviously in the same half as Barty, so that might prevent her from making the final. But anyway, let's see how that pans out. Okay, women for now at least tick. Let's get to the men. So we've got this lovely tweet here from Jose Morgado. Just going to bring in with Carreño Busta. I think that's a good win for PCB. Beating Korda there in 4 sets, and the one set he did lose was on a tie break, 6-4, 7-5, 6-7, 6-3. And that tie break was super, super close. He only lost 8-6 in that tie break. I thought this was two players that were arguably on different trajectories until today. And I was looking at Korda as being somebody sort of heading in this direction, and maybe PCB plateauing or even going down slightly. And I think it's a big win for him. It's nice. As Jose Morgado reminds us, though, the last time he got to this stage at the Aussie Open, it was a very different ending of his tournament, put it that way, with this unbelievable outburst. If we remember, I think it was a 5th set defeat at this stage 2 years ago. And it's funny because PCB is such a calm person on and off the court that it was just bizarre. Please check it out on YouTube. If you go to PCB Australian Open, it'll be one of the first ones you find on YouTube. It's actually quite funny, but almost a bit disturbing. And yeah, anyway, check that out, and good luck for PCB for the rest of the tournament. So, Spanish players, I guess we have to now come to Rafa Nadal. Rafa Nadal was last up on Rod Laver. We touched on it a day or two ago regarding whether that would be good for him or not. I think most of us would agree that Rafa being on that late is not ideal for him. I think he would rather have an afternoon slot. I'm sure he had an influence over the first 2 rounds over what time he was on, and he may get lucky again on Sunday for his next opponent. That's, of course, if his next opponent is ready by Sunday, because it's Mannarino against Karatsev, and they may still be playing on Sunday. So let's see how that pans out. But yeah, so rather regarding Rafa today anyway, 6-3, 6-2, 3-6, 6-1, losing his first set of the tournament. Maybe a wobble would be a bit too strong a word for that. But yeah, it was ultimately fairly comfortable. I thought his overall level was at its best. Hi, George, by the way. Yeah, I thought his overall level was at its highest so far. I think especially in those first 2 sets, and even just the first 3 or 4 games, I think he broke to take a 2-love lead at the beginning of the match. And I thought it was just 9 or so points, I think, in those that first sort of opening exchanges. But I thought, wow, we have seen an increase. And Rafa's had to, and he will probably have to go another level higher if he's really going to go deep. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Yeah, you did join at the right time, George. Exactly. Just talking about Rafa. So regarding Rafa today, I made a few notes on him, actually, because I thought there was quite a few interesting things. He won the toss again, 3rd time in a row, chose to serve first again. You're going to serve first more often than not, and I'm sure he'll probably continue to do that, and he'll be desperate to win the toss if he ends up playing Zverev in the quarters. We'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, I think there's a confidence with his serve at the moment. He actually, I think of the first sort of 6 service games, I think he won 24 points with a loss of just 3 points. Which was incredible. CB Logic, they're asking what happened to Osaka. I've already covered Osaka, so please feel free to either stay live and then rewatch the beginning of the show, or even just flick back now. So continue anyway with Rafa. Yeah, so it was looking good for him for 2 sets, I would say. I think Khachanov is a confidence player. And I think it was the 3rd set where I think, having lost those first 2 sets, sort of struggling a bit somewhat, I think that that he suddenly sort of played a bit more freely in that 3rd set. I felt he seemed to be enjoying it. He even sort of had a couple of interactions with the crowd. He also had an interaction with a with a cockroach a few times. We're seeing quite a few animals enter the court. We've had seagulls, and now we're getting cockroaches. So let me know in the live chat what animal you're expecting to see on court tomorrow. Of course, we had an animal down the other end of the court, and that was the beast or the bull that is Rafa Nadal, and he certainly was exerting that for 2 full sets. I thought he was very impressive. I thought for those 2 sets, this is a level that will do him good. And I think even 4 sets, by the way, was good. I was a bit worried to see how he would pan out with with the energy levels, and there were some echoes and reminders of the defeat he had against Tsitsipas, because he won those first 2 sets against Tsitsipas a year ago, 6-3, 6-2, before losing the third set. Big difference, though. The guy down the other end of the court is not Tsitsipas, and Tsitsipas's level, if you remember. Yeah, can we start dreaming, Liam? I'm not sure. I think that the Zverev, until the Zverev thing is done, then we can start dreaming. But I think the other guy down the end of the court is the big difference to how it was a year ago. I think if we remember that Tsitsipas match, Rafa was flying for 2 sets. And then he got to the tiebreak in the third set and he missed a couple of points. And that seemed to throw Rafa a bit for a while. But even more importantly, I think, regarding that match, is Tsitsipas for 3 sets or 2.5 sets in that match was just playing, big 3 level tennis. And I'm serious about that. He was just unbelievable. Rafa wasn't getting close to Tsitsipas on his serve. And also the backhand, which we know can, down the line, which we know can hurt Rafa, especially when he runs around his forehand, leaving that gaping wide court. That's where Tsitsipas was at a year ago. Khachanov, despite winning that third set, never looked like he was going to get to that level today. I did touch on it there. We've obviously got Rafa Nadal against Mannarino or Karatsev in the next round. Keep firing away with that in the live chat, by the way, because I can't keep across it. Mannarino a tiny, that's great. They've been at 4-3 for about 10 minutes. Okay, maybe I should adjust that poll. Will this game at 4-3 finish before the end of the Silk Report? And let me know in the chat if you think Rafa Nadal might have to be on last on Rod Laver Arena on Sunday night, because this match might need to go for another 36 hours. Let's see. Nastastic, by the way, thank you for this. Karatsev is no longer a relevant player with his performance. He's not going to make a second week of a Grand Slam for a very long time. Well, Nastastic, you might be right, especially as it's now 5-3 to Mannarino, but he's still not far away from making the second week. I guess with Australia, it's a bit different, because what we think of as being the second week is the 4th round onwards. But if I'm right, they do play on Sunday. So, but correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Anyway, regarding Nadal and what lies ahead, I think there was an interesting moment as well that Rafa mentioned in his after the match interview with Eurosport. He said talked about the differences between each set, or sort of the 3 phases of the match: the first 2 sets, then the third set, and then the fourth set. And he said that actually he made a move, if you like, in terms of where he was on the court regarding return of serve. So in that first 2 sets, he was quite aggressive with his court position, even on first serves, but particularly on second serves from Khachanov, who we know is a pretty big server, got 19 aces in the previous round. And he moved forward a bit for those first 2 sets. For some reason or another, he went back a little bit further to receive serve in the third set. And that's kind of where it went undone. And he returned to a slightly more aggressive position for the return of serve in that fourth set. Made a big difference. And I tweeted at some point during that fourth set, I think around the time that he broke serve. And by the way, there's a great image of him here, which is, we know this image. We've seen it many times with Rafa when he does break serve. And we saw this break of serve at the beginning, I think, of the fourth set, which is crucial, by the way, because I remember Rafa losing the first point of the fourth set and thinking, you don't want to be losing your serve this early on, but he held. And then he managed to break. And in that service game at 1-love at the time it was, or Rafa was leading 1-love, it was a huge game in the match, because there was 2 huge points that I said reminded me of Rafa of 2009 rather than 2022, because some of his defense in some one point in particular, I think it was a deuce point, his defense was unbelievable, just getting the ball back, making Khachanov go again. And this is what I mean with the person down the other end of the court. Khachanov at times, especially in sets 1, 2, and 4, was an unforced error in waiting. And that's kind of where we were with Khachanov today, with the exception of the third set when he was a bit looser, I think. And ultimately, that unbelievable defensive point did finish on an unforced error. I think it went in the tram line from Khachanov. And then the point that followed, again, Rafa's behind in the point. Rafa's behind in the point. And then an unbelievable backhand winner. And then we saw this exultation from him, and he went on to break again and ultimately close it out reasonably comfortably. So he lost his serve once today, Rafa, which is the first time in the tournament that he has lost his serve. But yeah, looking good. But I'm not going to start dreaming until the Zverev question is answered. I don't see Shapovalov answering that question, so to speak, in that I don't see Shapovalov beating Zverev. I think he's too hit and miss. As a result, he may take a set, but Zverev is looking awesome, and he won in straight sets today. Okay, let's have a roundup of other things today. Krejcikova, by the way, who managed to get through. There was a funny moment with her where she took an 8-minute toilet break, and I don't know. It is becoming a bit of a thing with Krejcikova in that. Oh, actually, no. I just want to touch on one more thing with Rafa. Sorry, we've got his coaches here, by the way, and we see in the background. He's Carlos Moya is still his lead coach, but this is Lopez, who joined his team a couple of months ago. And I just want to point something out. I think it's a great addition to the team, and I think it gives a nice voice, an additional voice after 5 years with just Moya, more or less. I know he's got another coach too, but primarily Moya. It's nice to have another voice, but watch them in the crowd. Because when you see Moya and Lopez in the crowd, Lopez, they're both wearing their masks, Lopez in particular, but Lopez seems to be giggling all the time. And it's almost like this good cop, bad cop combination. Carlos Moya being the bad cop, and he's fairly serious, probably a pretty good poker player. Lopez just seems to be giggling. And I don't know what he's giggling at. I mean, he was even giggling during the third set. I say giggling, you just get to see his eyes. And I don't know, it's just a funny good cop, bad cop. Let me know what you think. Okay, anyway, Krejcikova, yeah. So today she came through. Krejcikova beating, we've got it here, Ostapenko, the match of the two French Open champions. And I thought Krejcikova would win more comfortably, but it went to a third set. She took an 8-minute bathroom break. I think she said she broke her necklace or something. But we are seeing a bit of a pattern with her. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt last year when it came to that match against Muguruza at the US Open. And I thought that thing with Muguruza, I think, was touch and go. I felt a bit sorry for Muguruza. I don't think that she took it very well. And I think she could have been more composed. And we do see that with Muguruza from time to time. But I thought, you know what? And Krejcikova was apologetic at the net. If you remember, there was an exchange at the net after the match, and Krejcikova was like, "I'm really sorry," but at that point, Muguruza wasn't accepting the apology. To put it that way, and it happened again today, and she got a time violation under the, let's call it the Tsitsipas ruling. So she got a time violation for that. We all remember the Bosman ruling in football, the Rooney ruling in American football. And now we have the Tsitsipas ruling, I think we've got to call it, in tennis. Or perhaps it should be called Andy Murray ruling, because perhaps it's him who won the case. But I think we're done with... Match Point Mannarino, thank you. Game to Love Tennis podcast, reminding us of that on 3 separate occasions. Really, just keep... I think you're spanning the chat. I'm wondering whether we should block that account. Let me know what you think in the chat. At least give it a violation anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit. Let's keep an eye on this one anyway. She took that was the first by the way implementation of the Tsitsipas Andy Murray ruling, whatever you want to call it. And I don't want to see that too often. I mean, I do think there's other things that I think with this ruling that I think make it a little trickier to implement. I mean, we've seen Berrettini earlier this week having some medical issues, if you like, and needing to have time out, and those things, of course, can occur for all of us. And Karatsev has saved a match point, but it's on the Mannarino serve if I'm right. So he's serving for the match, but this could last who knows how long. We've probably got about another 10 minutes on the Silk Report, and well, some of the rallies might be lasting 10 minutes. We'll see how that pans out. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on. Let me know. Am I being harsh on Krejcikova there? But it's becoming a pattern. Let's keep an eye on that. But she's through, and she's looking good. Tough half of the draw. Badosa's in there, Sakkari's in there, Barty's in there, Anisimova is in there. Can we include her? Maybe not necessarily as a winner, but certainly as someone who could go far. So we'll see how that pans out. We've already done Badosa. Madison Keys, by the way, in one of the more dramatic matches. Well, I say dramatic. It went to the fifth set super tie, or third set super tie break, and ultimately pulling through. Sakkari, by the way, going through. Mannarino's won. Yeah. I guess if Mannarino's won, then let me know, particularly from Rafa Nadal's perspective. I guess that's a good thing. Karatsev was kind of looking vulnerable in every round, and he was just pulling through for one reason or another. And ultimately, you can't keep doing that. You can do it once or maybe even twice in a slam run. But anyway, it's a bit of a pity for Karatsev. Maybe even the ultimate calf machine. Maybe there were just too many kilometers in those legs after 3 titanic tussles. Anyway, Mannarino's done, so that's nice. Ben's crying. I hope he's okay from Liam there. That's nice. Mononlave 21. Sakkari next opponent is tricky. Pegula looking good. Yeah, fair enough. But I tell you what, let's talk about Sakkari, because she's been very quiet, let's say. She's not come up against a top level opponent, so there hasn't been a lot of focus on her, but she's been winning each round in straight sets. There's been no drama. There's been no, drama in the press conferences sometimes with Sakkari. I mean, I say drama. I mean, she gives some great quotes, let's say, in the press conference. But it's been a fairly methodical way for her going through. Matthew de Souza talking about Nadal's head-to-head with Mannarino being 2-0. I'd like to know a bit more about that. Were they on clay? How recently were they? Because I think, if they were both at the Philippe Chatrier in 2013, 2014, then I think that's very different to Australian Open 2022. But let me know about that. So happy for Mannarino there, says #MCSG. Let me know what the MCSG stands for. Mannarino's playing pretty well, according to Tom Lazar 36. But I think he's still got to play. I think with Rafa, I don't think he struggles against defensive players, because what you find with a defensive player or playing defensively, like we saw with Murray on Monday in the first round, when Murray was just playing, particularly in sets sort of 3, 4, 5, was just getting the ball back and waiting for Basilashvili to make a mistake, and it happens. Paris and China, so once on clay, once on a hard court. Thanks, Liam. So, okay, 2019, 2016, great. Okay, but I don't think Rafa struggles so much against this type of opponent. Rafa's problems tend to be people who are unbelievable backhands, especially down the line, and unbelievably big serves, which is why Berrettini doesn't quite have the combo. Of course, by the way, we're going to come to Berrettini and Alcaraz. My goodness me, I can't believe I haven't mentioned that so far. But okay, Rafa is hot. Hinal Patel, thank you for that analysis. So, I don't think Rafa struggles against defensive players. And we saw, because Rafa doesn't lose his cool in this manner. He can hit through players. And he's not, he might make a few unforced errors, but eventually he's going to make more winners. If it's just simple sitting the ball up in the center of the court, as some of those shots that Basilashvili was missing the other day, and also Khachanov today. Anyway, let's get back to the women's. Yes, Sakkari, I think it's, it's nice for her. And I must say I've got a soft spot for her, mainly because I find that her defeats, she does take pretty badly, and they've been in the semi-finals, and that may yet occur again. I mean, it's a tough half with both Badosa and Barty, but also Krejcikova in there. Let's see how it pans out. But I'd love to see her go all the way. So, anything else on the women's side? Pegula, we just sort of briefly mentioned. Azarenka, well, we did that on the live stream last night. Not much more to say about that. 6-love, 6-2. I mean, Svitolina was lucky to get love in that first set, I think. Barty, we've already touched on. I think it was a decent run from Georgie, but ultimately more than met her match today. And we've already done Osaka Anisimova. And it's taken me about half an hour to get that pronunciation right. Let's get on to the men's side, the matches I've missed. Somebody else who's spectacular on the court, but again, his pathway has been fairly unremarkable, if you like. I think he's not dropped a set yet, and he's going through all the time. Gael Monfils. Again, we're not talking about him. The Djokovic thing, of course, opened up that quarter, meaning I do see him getting to the quarterfinals. I think he's going to play Kecmanovic in the next round. Kecmanovic, by the way, we talk about benefiting from Djokovic's absence. Of course, he was due to play Djokovic in the first round and probably was thinking, I'm going to be going home on Tuesday. Well, rebook your flight, my friend. You're here for another few more days. And that's a good win against Sonego, the 25 seed, I think. Opelka, Shapovalov. I saw this one going either way because of the way Shapovalov has been very much, as I say, hit and miss. Kind of classic Shapovalov in the tournament so far. That's a good win, but Zverev lies in wait, and Zverev is obviously the hot favourite. We've already done Carreño Busta. Zverev, by the way, I mean, that was a piece of cake for him. I didn't expect it anything else. I think Zverev got a bit lucky, I think, with the draw, because I saw the draw at the beginning. I thought, oh, that's a bit tricky for Zverev. A fellow German in the first round, Millman in the second round, and Harris in the third round. That was his path that I saw at this point. But once Harris goes out in round one, boom, that does sort of make things a bit easier. Millman was nowhere near the level that he showed against Federer a couple of years ago. So Zverev's pathway so far has been rudimentary, but he's had rudimentary paths in the past and still gone out. So hats off to him, and he's looking good. And he's the guy. He's the guy. If you talk about Are We Dreaming About Rafa, I think in terms of the matchup at least, I think Rafa against Zverev is much harder for Rafa than Rafa against Medvedev. I'm not saying that he'll beat Medvedev if he gets that far, but if you say to me, Rafa, Medvedev, I think it's 60-40 in Medvedev's favor. Zverev, I think, is 70-80 in Zverev's favor. But anyway, Karatsev, we just spoke about with Mannarino. They're finally going through. So I think that brings us to the final match to discuss, which obviously has to be the Alcaraz-Berrettini match here. Wow. I couldn't watch all of it. It fell at the wrong time for me, but I did watch the opening. Well, I watched the opening set, basically, which was, it was also a strange opening set in the way it panned out. The first 4 games, they shared them, 2 each. But Berrettini was struggling to hold his serve every time. Berrettini was hanging in there. The level, even though it was 2-2 on the scoreboard after four games, for me, it looked like, you know what? I thought Alcaraz would win. I saw it as been a 60-40 match. I'm not underestimating Berrettini. Berrettini, his absolute best is, a semi-finalist, a finalist at a Grand Slam tournament, as we've seen on a couple of occasions before. But yeah, Tomislav was very lucky. He got the last 30 minutes. Yeah, I think if you're going to catch 30 minutes of this match, of course, the last 30 being probably the best. But yeah, I saw the first set anyway. And the first 4 games, although it was 2-2 on the scoreboard, Alcaraz's level was, and I saw it, if I thought it was 60-40 before the match, having watched those 4 games, I thought Alcaraz is going to win today. What then happened for the next 4 games? Let me know what you think in the live chat. How did that first set just run away from Garcia in that way? From Alcaraz in that first set. I don't know what happened. And then, of course, he loses the second set. We're looking at some stats there, by the way. Alcaraz's serve, 12 aces, by the way, is pretty good, considering I know it went to 5 sets, so you should get 1 or 2 more aces. But he actually out-aced Berrettini today, which is saying something with a guy as big a serve as Berrettini. I think that also shows well on Alcaraz in terms of his ability to return. Obviously, Alcaraz taking a few more risks there, getting the double faults, but it was, it was really nip and tuck. And Berrettini winning 2 tiebreaks, 5th set, super tiebreak, was massive. But Alcaraz, as well, he touched on in his interview, he was quite happy with the way he played, and so he should be. He is now going to toe-to-toe with the top hardcourt players in the world. I would put Berrettini on a hard court in the top 6 players in the world. I think I'd put him ahead of Rublev, despite Rublev's ranking being slightly higher than Berrettini's right now. I see Djokovic, of course. I see Medvedev, Zverev being the 3 standout hard court players. You would then put in the next category Tsitsipas and Rafa probably, and then I would have Berrettini. And bear in mind, Djokovic is not here. I would put him in the sort of top 5. How is Berrettini injury concerns missed the match? Well, George, there was no concern for me in the first set. His concerns were more health, as in I think he had a bit of a stomach bug in the first round. I touched on that a bit earlier. But I don't think there's any other ailments to talk of right now. Let me know in the live chat if I'm missing something. Rolled his ankle slightly, but not completely. Okay. If it's about his fall, I think it's fine. So was the fall today? I didn't see that fall. Looked like a tweak. What set did that come in, by the way, Liam, if you can remember? Anyway, so listen, Alcaraz, I'm already thinking, I mean, I saw a Eurosport debate about whether he would make world number one. I think that's a pretty short debate. He is a world number one day. Come back to me on the Silk Report in 5 years if he hasn't made world number one, and we'll have that discussion then. He's a Grand Slam winner for sure one day. Will that day be in 2022? After 4 games last night, I thought yes, not necessarily in Australia, but I think there's a French Open for sure, just waiting for him. Will that be before or after Rafa retires? Don't know. But for me, he's in the top 4 or 5 favourites coming into Roland Garros. I know there's Rafa and the rest, but he's in that next group along with Djokovic and Tsitsipas, in my opinion, who could win the French Open this year. This year, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, okay, 4th or 5th. Thanks, Liam. So, but still, Berrettini, that's a great win for Berrettini. Let's look at Berrettini for a second, because I think US Open semi-final 2019. Okay, Wimbledon last year final as well. He's a great, by the way, player on all surfaces, I think. I mean, possibly you would say the most likely slam, if he is to win one, would be Wimbledon. But not far behind would be the 2 hard courts. And I don't see him winning the French, but he's pretty good on clay. We saw him get to the final and play Zverev in Madrid last year. We saw him lose just 4 tight sets to Djokovic at the French Open last year. So let's have a look at this over there. Alcaraz has added some muscle. He should dress in the Nadal 2008 Capri pants with cut-off shirt at Wimbledon, and Medvedev can wear the Federer sweater in the final. I like that idea. Yeah, I do like that idea. By the way, we didn't touch on Medvedev's interviews, both with Eurosport, where he said some of the crowd needs to improve their IQ, but also some of the other comments he made, and that was very funny. And also, I saw a clip today of Kyrgios having a swig of beer from someone in the crowd afterwards. I apologize for not dwelling on that too much yesterday, and I should have done, because it's funny. And yeah, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked a bit there. But so Berrettini, yeah, great win for him. Problem for him is that it'll be Rafa or Zverev probably in the semi-final, and that's where I see his run ending. Him versus Monfils, I think, is the quarterfinal, if I'm right. I guess I would make Berrettini slight favourite in that. Let me know what you think in the live chat. I know Monfils has been streaming through and doing very well without dropping a set, but from the quarterfinal onwards, the level of opponent steps up. Okay. Anything I've missed? I don't think so. Any other business? Krejcikova toilet break we've done. So let's get to this evening, stroke tomorrow. PCB favourite versus Berrettini? I think so. No, don't agree with that. 12 travel 21. I see this being PCB's end, if I'm honest. But let me know what you think in the live chat. Okay, let's get to tonight, stroke tomorrow's action. We should be doing a live stream tonight, by the way, so tune in for that. Clara Towson. By the way, I'm offended, if I'm honest, and I want to get this off my chest right now. I'm offended by the fact that Ben has never asked me to do a voiceover for a button. And Clara Towson, I think, suggests that I should at least be asked. I will say no, because I've got my own thing, and I've got I want to keep my powder dry and wait for other contracts to come. But I'm a bit offended that I haven't been asked thus far. And yeah, let me know what you think in the live chat. Should I get that? How do you see it going, by the way, tonight? Clara Towson, Daniel Collins. 50-50 for me. Am I bigging up Towson too much? Again, let me know what you think in the live chat. George Macaulay, John Silk Remix. Thank you very much. Gene, where have you been? Where have you been, my friend? You're late. Is it because, Gene, I didn't put the South African time in the tweet I sent out earlier? I put loads of different time zones. I was thinking about including South Africa, and then I thought, nah, Gene will be there no matter what. And it's good to have you on board. Soyconic predicting Collins. I think it's 50-50. Who is the winner, Kecmanovic or Monfils? Monfils for me, yeah, pretty clear favourite, I would say, or maybe I'm going too heavy on Monfils. I think it's just great to see Monfils happy again. Calendar slam for Rafa, not in a million years. I think if he wins one major this year, I think it's a good year. Two, unbelievable, and I think two is probably his limit. You would imagine he's still the favourite for the French. I can't believe Ben casting doubts on him at the French Open this year, but as JG has mentioned in the past, if Rafa's at the French Open, doesn't matter if he's 40, 60, 80, doesn't matter what condition he's in, he goes into the French Open as favourite every year. Gene, sorry that I'm late. Currently celebrating because I passed all my subjects with an A, which means my university entry is guaranteed. Well, congratulations, Gene. A very loyal viewer of the Game to Love podcast, and we're really pleased for you on that one. What does celebrating mean, by the way, Gene? Are you having a beer or two, perhaps? So yeah, any other business? Yeah, so tonight we've got Clara Towson. We've also got Medvedev playing tomorrow as well. Oh, regarding the Towson-Daniel Collins match, I have some breaking news. We are going to have a special guest on the show tonight, making their first appearance on Game to Love. Can you guess who it is in the live chat? I will not be revealing right now, but fire away with some of your guesses in the live chat if you can guess who is going to be our guest making their debut on Game to Love tonight. Very exciting news. Let us know who you think it will be. Gene says no beers, just loads of foods and stuff. Okay, nice one, Gene. Congratulations, all the same. Ross is suggesting, are we going to get Djokovic on the live stream tonight? Tune in for the Towson Collins match to play. Is it a tennis player? Well, they play tennis. Liam go for Richard Branson. That's left field. That one is. JG suggesting, is it Del Potro? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to say right now, it's not Del Potro. That's all I'm telling you. We wanted Del Potro. We spoke to him, but unfortunately, injuries have meant that he can't play or watch or join for the live stream. So sadly, he won't be there. Serena is a suggestion. Serena Williams, of course. Liam going Kim Jong-un. Well, if Richard Branson is left wing, left field, sorry, Kim Jong-un is, I don't know what field he's in. By the way, North Korea, little fun stat. In the capital, they have the biggest soccer stadium in the world. Go check it out. Google it, Wikipedia it. They have the biggest soccer stadium in the world. I think it's about 190,000 capacity, which is almost double the next biggest, which will probably be the Azteca in Mexico and Barcelona with about 90. It's double that, basically. Has anyone seen this stadium? No. But let's trust Kim Jong-un on that. Why would he tell anything otherwise? And also tune in tonight, and you can ask him in the live chat if he's the special guest about this stadium that supposedly exists. I've seen a picture on Wikipedia, although it's pretty small. I haven't managed to count all the seats. Nice one there from Jack, by the way, suggesting it could be Patrick Mouratoglou, and I apologize on the surname there. Yeah, of course, Serena Williams is coach and an esteemed coach in the game. So yeah, exactly, Liam. That's what they told us, John. Wouldn't trust that. Yeah, well, tune in tonight, Liam, and maybe ask the big man himself. Is it true? Can you provide evidence that you've got this stadium with 190,000 capacity? Listen, who knows? But it's an interesting thing. Why would you lie about it? Oh, there was something I touched on in a chat, I think, on the live chat yesterday, and I wanted to be reminded of this, which was basically many people have a dream. Okay, Martin Luther King had a dream. Others have dreams. We saw Sammy Stosa's dream of winning a Grand Slam that was fulfilled. Rafa Nadal and Federer have talked about beyond their wildest dreams, winning 20 slams. Let me tell you about my dream. My dream is to date a tennis player, and I'll tell you why. Basically, I would like to follow them around. I will be the loyal boyfriend in the crowd. I'll be the guy there who's clapping and cheering them on. I would like a drink or two, probably a glass of champagne would be very nice throughout. But I would love to go travel around all these tournaments, even just one tournament. I'm quite happy with a 2-week relationship, by the way, for the duration of a slam. My only concern is, though, that if she went out early, if she goes out like let's say, just for argument's sake, Muguruza. Muguruza, I am single, by the way. Send me a private message on Twitter if you want to go out for, I can pay at least for the first 2 rounds if that helps. I would like this, but the problem is if Muguruza is going out in round 2 as she did here, and she's saying that she wants to get on the next flight home, I'm sorry, I want to stay for Rafa. I want to stay for the 2 weeks. I want final. I want to, if you're going out early, that's no good for the relationship. In fact, I think it would probably put the relationship at an end, but I certainly want guarantees of final tickets. So that's my dream. Let me know in the chat. Gene's dream is to be the commentator box to represent GTL. I think that's a very realistic dream, Gene. Dream, definitely. Let me know what your dreams are, by the way. Deborah there giving a good old giggle. By the way, I think probably right now would be better to be Badosa's boyfriend because, I think she's got a good chance of making the final. Problem with Badosa is that she's got a boyfriend and, let's say his 6-pack is a little better than mine. Little. I've got a bit of work to do in the gym, kind of like Rafa Nadal-esque. I need to spend the next hour and a half per day in the gym. JG says I'm better looking than Badosa's boyfriend. I completely agree. I think you're right, JG. And by the way, maybe, I'm not saying, maybe Badosa's boyfriend could be the guest this evening. Kim Jong-un, Badosa's boyfriend. Let me know what you think. My dream from Liam is to have 8 Jaeger bombs with John Silk and cause carnage outside Philippe Chatrier. Liam, Philippe Chatrier, sometime end of May, beginning of June. I'm there. By the way, I might even be on Philippe Chatrier, and I don't mean as a wild card. I mean, as in going to the matches there. Well, I mean, again, French Open. Give me a wild card. I'm happy. Also, let me know in the chat if you think could you, as an individual, win a point against, let's say, a top 4 or 5 player. Could you win a point? Let's say if you're on the women's side, could you win a point against Ash Barty over 2 or 3 sets? Could you win a point? Well, 2 sets. I'm assuming you're not going to win a set. Could you win a point against Rafa or Medvedev or Zverev? Zverev, I'm going to win a point. Let me tell you that now, and I'll tell you why. Double faults. Sabalenka, I think you might even win a set against Sabalenka right now. Okay, anyway, that brings us, I think, to the end of this. I'm just going to go back and just briefly remind you of tonight's stream that's guaranteed. We're going to have Clara Towson with Ben plus special guest. Clara Towson against Daniel Collins. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to more of these Silk reports. Looking forward to, day 6, that'll be. I'm getting confused with all these days, but let me tell you now, it's getting a little easier to cover now. There's slightly less matches, and that's cool. Like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you this time tomorrow. Ciao.